Hello everybody, Foxden Gaming here, and I'm here to tell you 5 tips and tricks for beginners in Heroes of the Storm. Now, Heroes of the Storm 2.0 came out just a couple days ago, so with that in mind, a lot of people are going to be buying that new bundle that came out, which will have about 20 heroes per bundle, and you can only get one, so, you get 20 free heroes right off the bat if you join Heroes of the Storm today, and that has sold it on a lot of people. And a lot of people are playing now, but because of the all new people playing, I'm deciding to, give a little bit of help to those new people. So with these 5 tips and tricks, you should be able to play better and hopefully win more games, level up faster, get more loot, all that fun stuff that, came out in the update. So if you're new to Heroes of the Storm, sit back and relax and take a couple notes. And even if you're a veteran, you might learn something that you didn't, know before. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now, tip number 5. Objectives are key. A lot of the maps in the game are built around playing objectives as the only way to win nowadays. There's a couple in particular that come to mind. Hanamura is one of them, where you have to push the payload, and that's the only way you can actually kill the enemy's core. And a lot of times, your team will aim to catch one of these objectives, and it is important for you to understand when to go and when not to go. But if you're just beginning, just as a rule of thumb, if you see more than 2 people going to the objective, you should just go and help them out anyway. There's only specific circumstances where I would say that you should not do that, and that's usually... It usually has to deal with what character you're playing, and we'll address that later on. Tip 4 is never go in alone. Now, this seems like a common sense thing, but I've seen a lot of players just run in alone trying to pick a fight with somebody. You should always wait for your team to jump into a fight, or wait for your team to come before jumping into a fight. Especially with another player in a contested zone. Lanes are okay to pick a fight in as long as you're safe about it, but if you're the only one going for an objective, just wait for an other player to come in. It's definitely worth your time, especially late game, because if you die late game, you usually have to wait 45 seconds or more, and that's almost a minute that you can be, helping out your team, fighting, or, doing siege damage, or doing something on the map instead of being dead and useless. Tip number 3, practice. Now, it's common sense, again, why wouldn't we practice? It's a game, of course. But what I mean is, you want to go into AI matches and practice, at least once when you try out a new hero. This is especially true for all the people that have, the 20 new heroes. You want to practice in the AI matches before you go into an actual match. The reason why is because you can actually see what your hero's abilities do, and that's really good for allowing you to basically know, like, hey, I know that I should use this to start off, because, there's certain characters that have a bunch of really weird abilities that aren't exactly worded the best, and you don't understand them reading them, but then when you actually see them in the field, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And just seeing other players play a character doesn't exactly make you super knowledgeable and, the character that you're going to start playing. I could see, anyone play Abathur for, the next couple weeks, but I'm not going to understand how to play Abathur until, I actually play him for myself. Okay. And just practice. It helps. Tip number 2 is research your builds. Now, Heroes of the Storm is one of the few lucky sites or one of the few games that has a great site that's built around helping people become better at playing the game. The one I use is Icy Veins, and I'm going to put that down in the description. It's going to be linked down below. Because whenever I want to start playing a new hero, I always want to check to make sure, hey, is this hero good on, these maps or whatever? Or, hey, can I, who does he synchronize well with? Who does he get countered by? What should I look out for? All these things are important, and it allows you to sort of, learn how to play better. and hopefully, do better at Heroes of the Storm in general. And now, tip number 1. And this is the main reason why I made this video. Never pick these heroes. There are certain heroes people say, hey, that's weird, I want to try it, especially when you're new to the game. Don't pick these. Do not pick these heroes. It's a dumb idea. Just don't do it. And there are these 3 heroes that are specifically targeted. I was going to throw in another one, but I figured he's not that bad, and I'll talk about him a little bit at the end too. But the first one, and the main one that made me want to say this, are the Lost Vikings. The Lost Vikings are a multi-person hero that requires a great deal of knowledge on how to play in order to use them properly. Now, I'm not saying that if you're new to the game, you can't use the Lost Vikings effectively, but you have to be knowledgeable in other game types also. Like, if you play an RTS, Lost Vikings will probably be, decent for you. Because a lot of playing the Lost Vikings is like playing an old RTS game. It's really fun. I used to main the Vikings. I don't anymore because they got nerfed and I haven't been into them that much anymore. But if you have if you have a hard time on focusing on more than one thing at a time, then you just should not play the Vikings. And the Vikings are a very high skill cap hero anyway because of how much they require to basically be good. Like, the Vikings basically allow for your team to soak all 3 lanes while 4 people are doing, the objective, and you're still pushing with all the 3 Vikings and doing your job. And it allows you to get, very high, level. It basically allows you to get higher in levels than your opponents by 3 levels at times. It's really insane. You could have a whole other talent and the other team just can't keep up because you're just constantly soaking EXP. Oh boy. Now, the next hero I'm going to talk about is Abathur. Now, Abathur is similar to the Lost Vikings in the fact that you need to have complete situational awareness. Abathur is very, very reliant on his minimap and understanding where the other heroes are at all times, and knowing who to buff, who to help out, which lane to put himself at, so that way he can send his locusts in there. He is a really good example of just a character that is not in the fight at all, but has he is completely aware of everything and is able to help out wherever you need him at a minute's notice. So, with that being said, Abathur's really squishy, so you can't actually fight with him. He's all just behind the scenes, pulling strings. His hero abilities are what make him especially difficult to use, though. Monstrosity is not that hard to use. It's literally pop one on one of the minions, and you can basically, control a monster that essentially functions as a hero, but you don't really have to worry about it because, you won't die with it. You know what I mean? So, there's that. The other thing that Abathur needs to kind of understand, or as an Abathur you need to understand, is you need to know every character basically decently enough to play them without a heroic ability. Because his other ultimate is to literally clone a hero and use them in fighting and control them. So it's important to know how to play a wide variety, if not every hero in the game. And with that being said, I think that Abathur he's a really good hero. He's not bad at all. Lost Vikings are situational, whereas the Abathur is pretty much decent on any map. There's only one map that Icy Veins says that he's not good on. And I don't remember what it is because I remember playing it recently, but it was, I think it might have been the Zerg one. But besides that, he's really good on pretty much every map. He's able to lay mines out. He's able to just help out anybody and heal, and he's a great support character. But he's really hard to play if you're not used to, playing a character like that. Now, the last character I'm going to pick, and I know people are going to argue with me about this character, and I know I play this character. I played him when I first started out, and I loved him, but I have some bad habits now that have kind of been left from Murky. So, Murky the Murloc, he's an adorable little character. He's fun to play, he's amazing, he's really good, and a lot of people are going to say, well, he's a good character to play because he doesn't really have a death penalty compared to other characters. And that's a fair point. You know, the Lost Vikings have a, like, chopped in half death penalty, I think, because they only have half the time that other characters have being dead. And that's only if you get a certain perk. Abathur, you know, he never dies if you play him right, so just, you know, there's that. Murky, however, can die whenever he wants, basically, because that's how his character works. I'm not sure they changed it, but when I played Murky, basically he was the best siege character in the game because he can die a lot, and it doesn't actually hinder the character's or hinder like your team that much because he respawns within 10 seconds anyway. So you place your spawn point, because he has a movable spawn point, you can place it like near the lane, and then you just spawn like basically back on the lane within 10 seconds, and then you run in and just start messing with people again. And he's a really hard pusher that way, and it makes him really good at just being the biggest fucking pest imaginable. But the thing is, because of his low health and his highly aggressive playstyle, it teaches people, especially when they're new, to just go in and attack constantly, and that's not always what you want to do. Sometimes you want to lay back and, you know, wait for somebody to show themselves, or wait for a character to come in and, you know, do their thing, or maybe you want to wait in the bushes to gank people. Murky is not about that. Murky is 100% offense 100% of the time. Because you have such a low health pool that waiting doesn't really pay anyway. If you grab a health globe, you basically refill your health. It's crazy. As long as you like play with your abilities decently, you'll be fine. But that being said, because of his highly aggressive playstyle and the fact that he can die and it doesn't really matter, you know, it's just he's not a good beginner character. Just do not play him. The other character I was gonna say and mention was Greymane, but he's not as hard to get as other characters, I would say, and he's pretty simple down to the wire. You know, hey, I have one form that, you know, shoots range. I have one form that, you know, attacks melee, and that's not big of a deal. And plus, I think he's in less of the what's it called, the packs than other characters. So just, you know. And there's a lot of characters that have weird, like, you know, like, oh, they have weird little side gimmicks, but it's not as bad as, you know, the Lost Vikings, Abathur, and Murky, because each of these characters play completely differently than most heroes, you know? And it's crazy how much these characters are, like, different, and how much it can change the game if you have one that sucks and one that's, like, really good. But with that being said, guys, I think it's time to, you know, call it good. With these tips at hand, I hope that you can do well in Heroes of the Storm and, you know, play to your utmost efficiency, because there's nothing worse than, you know, starting up a game and sucking really hard at it and then you just discouraged to play. Keep these tips at hand and you should be A-okay. And you'll probably make it to... You'll probably be able to win the games more with all these tips at hand, or at least like get it to like it's a really close. But I've had games where people just do not follow any of these tips, and they just get fucking destroyed, and it's bad. So just don't follow these tips. Follow these tips. Do not follow these tips. And I hope you all have a great day. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'll be sure to be doing, like, videos every, you know, week from now on. At least one every Saturday. Or not every Saturday, every Sunday. Sorry. But yeah. Have a good day, and I hope you all succeed in Heroes of the Storm. Bye-bye.